When factoring using the difference of two squares method, we need to be able to identify squares. For example, x squared is a square. It is x times x. 9 is also a square. It is 3 times 3. So when we're considering the difference of two squares, what we're saying is that we have a square minus another square. It could be a squared expression or it could be a square number. Either way, it must be a square minus a square to qualify us to use this method. Now remember that factoring is breaking down a number or expression into smaller parts so that after you multiply it, you get what you started with. The great thing about the difference of two squares is that it's quite simple. Once you figure out that they are squares, you simply take the square root. So the square root of x squared is x, and the square root of 9 is 3. And the answer is simply x plus 3 times x minus 3. And that's it. Now, of course, you can write this as x minus 3 times x plus 3. It doesn't quite matter what order you put it in, just as long as one has a plus sign and one has a minus sign, you are done.
Hey, if you haven't liked, shared, or subscribed yet, go do that now. Okay, bye.
Sometimes your difference of two squares can look a little different. For example, 4x squared minus 1. Now it's really important to note that this example is also a difference of two squares. 4x squared is a square. It is 2x times 2x. And also 1 is a square. It is 1 times 1. So just keep that in mind. This is a common square that is overlooked, and sometimes we may not get to the right answer because we don't recognize that. So it is 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. And again, it doesn't quite matter if you put the subtraction sign first or the addition sign first. Now there's also an example where you might find 100x to the 6th minus 64y squared. Now notice that this is still an example of a difference of two squares. 100 and 64 are both square numbers, and once your degrees are even, then those are also squares. So 100x squared is, or x to the 6th, is 10x cubed times 10x cubed. And 64 is 8, or 64y squared, is 8y times 8y. So then this is 10x cubed plus 8y, 10x cubed minus 8y. You may also see your difference of two squares written in a different order. So for example, negative 4 plus 9y squared. Now the sign of the 4 is negative and the sign of the 9y squared is positive. So I can rewrite this as positive 9y squared minus 4. And now we'll be able to see that these are in fact the difference of two squares. So 9y squared is 3y times 3y, and 4 is 2 times 2. So to factor this, it would be 3y plus 2 times 3y minus 2. The final example I wanted to share is this one, 4x to the 8th plus 1. Now, of course, 4 is a square. The exponent of x here is even, so that is also a square. And 1 is also a square. But keep in mind that this method is called the difference of two squares. Difference means subtraction. So in each of these examples, it is a square minus a square. Square minus a square. In this case, we have a square plus another square. This does not qualify to be used with the difference of two square method. In this case, we would just stop here. This would not be factored any further. Sometimes though, you might be able to factor out a GCF, so you can check out my other video about that. But in this case, we would be done. The final answer would be 4x to the 8th plus 1, and we're done.